What is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. Sam, have you seen those pictures of you that are animated that just got posted on Twitter? Go now. You're going to freak. Someone made pictures of you. Go right now, dude. It's awesome. They did on me too. Give him a like and a follow and hit the noties. He did a solid for us, Sam. Crypto in the morning, guys. We're live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're here for the Hex Zen ERC20 review, unbiased comparison, you could probably skip the first 10 minutes. Me and Sam are going to chat about the concept in a little more depth, kind of let people know what's going on. But if you're very familiar with these concepts, very likely you will skip to that point. Just understand we're just going to be covering some basics so the people that come in here that are new can understand. Today, me and Sam are covering Zen on Ethereum. Now, I'm not talking about the other Zen, Sam. You hear me? I don't even know about them, so I can't talk about them. I swear. Like, I don't even know I don't know if there's $1 in liquidity or 100 grand. I have not a clue. But on Ethereum, I know every metric. And we all saw what I was posting last night. I was having fun. We were practicing liquidity. We all saw the God Rocket on the V3 God Rocket. It was amazing. Anyway, I don't want to mess this up. So Zen versus Hex, comparison, unbiased. Again, me and Sam do not care about everyone's feelings because we are very certain that they don't care about ours. So I care about Sam's feelings, kind of, but like I've never seen that really have to happen. So it's kind of just, we like to cover things unbiased. We like to cover things really cut through it because we don't care who the winning team is. We want them to pump our backs. Hey, pump our backs. We want to. I'm not a cheerleader. I like to research and get into this stuff. And at the end of the day, these are two ERC20s that are hosted on Ethereum that you can stake, send. So if to not compare them is, I think, Sam, ignorant. And I think to say one is a vampire and the other one is a blessing is also ignorant. Like, that's worse than ignorant. That's not even a discussion that I'm willing to listen to. When someone says, community, you stole this, you stole that. No, the iPad stole a lot of customers from the shitty little iPhone little thing that I had early on. With you stick the little box in and you hear some music. I bet they were pissed. I bet nobody gives a shit anymore. Right? It's important that we look at this now. I'm on both teams, baby. Pump my bags, baby. Crypto in the morning live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. We got a lot to talk about.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some hedge on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim ready to send me to show you the way.
D5 Pro. Yeah.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Yo, those pictures are hilarious. I just looked those up on Twitter. Shout out to whoever that was. I have his Twitter handle up here.
Low Hexico, I think. Shout him out real quick, Sam. I got to turn my light on.
If you guys are not aware, if you're seeing these like almost automated,
I'll pull them up at the end.
Okay, we'll pull them up at the end where it's like a person's face, but it's painted and different scenes or whatever the case is awesome. And little Hexico, we'll try to show you at the end, but this type of thing, it's hard to see there, but that type of thing and several others that are just hilarious are awesome. Little Hexico on Twitter.
And we'll pull him up at the end, so don't worry about it, because he made some of me too, and I love him, so I'm probably going to want to show them at the end. But we got to stay on topic because we got a lot of guys in here, and I don't know how. Lots of people
versus Zen.
I want you to talk for a second. I gave you my notes for the morning. Me and Sam have not discussed the innards of the two, but I have told him the rubric of what I kind of wanted to talk about. But we have not discussed this really ever. So Sam, they need to understand we did not prep for this, and that's important when you're doing something like this too. Because I know Sam well enough. I don't have to ask him his goddamn opinion on every nuanced thing that I wrote down beforehand, so I can have a little kumbaya with him, do some mushrooms and touch his butt, give him a little slap on the ass. That's not what we're doing here. We are comparing real cryptos that people put millions of dollars in, Sam. And that serious.
To that point too, though, you are also DCAing, and you're going to continue to DCA, and I am doing the same exact thing. So as much as we're doing this to create content and put shit out for you guys, we're also doing this selfishly to better understand how each of us thinks, but also how you guys think about things, so that we can get a better understanding of what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on with Zen, what's going on with Hex. Where do we see these things going? Is that a good point? Is it a valid point? How do you break this down? What are the points?
And we put our asses on the line. Like, you don't think my ass was on the line, Richard, in front of all the people saying you're such a pleb because you about Zen? No, I took it like a champ, because I don't play those games, boy. I done played those games in high school. I don't need to do that. I'm going to study both, buy both, and dominate. Period. Unless they both go to zero. Then I'm going to keep my BNB stacks safe. No, I'm kidding. But so let's talk about. I want you to talk really quick about what. Oh, I'm going to pull the two websites up, Sam, and I just want we're going to have to discuss the two a little bit before we do a comparison.
Why don't you, without getting any details, just give people the framework that you're utilizing to view these two. Don't talk about the details, but just the framework. So GRC has a list of.
All right, everybody has their own little tango of how they research cryptocurrencies, right? And it's usually like 3 to 5 points. And then it would probably be better to have 6 or 8 if it was like a very dense research paper or something. But I stuck with 3 for now. Code, software, and in this case, we're talking about the decentralized nature of the code and software, right? Richard creates something that's closed-looped and immutable. But there's a little open source problem there, Sam, we have to talk about. What is open source and why does it matter? That's important. That is important. Like, it's about scaling, Sam. And so what do we know? Innovation, it's important, but maybe there's things we don't know about business where it's important that some guys don't get these ideas. Anyway, let's move forward on that note. So we got the code, software, the decentralized nature of it. Me and Sam are not developers, but everyone already put their money in this jack for 3 years. So we're good. Founder/community. And I put those into one tier because I feel like it's a fuse of the same thing. Like the who sets the tone in the household, right? You know, it's always clear as day. And it's the founder of the cryptocurrency. And it's very important because they kind of mold their community. People trust them. And then they tell them things. If Sam said, hey man, someone's calling for you, he really wants to hurt you, I would probably believe him. I'd be like, what? I believe you. What's going on? But then I would there's repercussions for that because I could have to protect. And then he's like, I was joking. I was like, dude, I just freaked out for a week. I was just, you know what I'm saying? So there's trust, and then you got to worry about that. And then the bottom here, we got product market fit, Sam. That's my favorite conversation to have because it's the end all be all at the end of the day. When I'm dying and my kids are there, was there innovation here? Did something in the world change when that code got released? Did someone have an idea that others could not think of it? And Eric Wall had a nice tweet the other day. He said, innovation should shock you a little bit. I think he said a little bit in there. Like, it should shock you a little bit. Like, you're like, damn, that car moved. How fast does the Tesla go 0 to 60? What? Is it all electric? Like, it gives you that. And do we see those things here? We're going to talk about all of that stuff. And I'm excited about this one because, this is like my whole shit. Like, to be honest.
I also think that, like, from a I more so use it for like investing kind of thing, like macro level. What's going on at the macro level? So this is my framework. I also have like, 4 parts. Sometimes there's a couple more depending on what you're looking at, but 4 pieces, right? Macro level. What's going on in macro, right? I understood that this was taking place with EVs. This is why I was paying attention to Tesla and investing into Tesla, because I understood what was going on at the macro level. The community, understanding the community. One of the things that I watched with Tesla was that it was growing extremely fast. The community was growing extremely fast. People just talking about it because it was filling a need, which is part number 3. Does this fill some type of void? And that's where GRC is talking about the product market fit. Is there a need for this? Does it fill perfectly into what the market is missing? Right? There's Uniswap is missing a limit order feature, right? There's a need there for that would be utilized by a portion of the population who uses Uniswap. That need is not being met, right? How well do you understand the marketplace to understand if that need is being met? Because if you don't understand the marketplace, then you cannot understand the need. When I just said there's no limit order feature for Uniswap, it's available, but it's manual. Should not be that way. But if you don't understand Uniswap, you don't understand that need. So you couldn't build something to fulfill that need. Another is I don't know if I mentioned the community, the macro level, and the actual thing that it is, like the details, what immutable code, right? In this case, the car with Tesla. Why is this thing better than other things? What makes this thing better than all the other things out there, kind of thing? And maybe it's the community. Maybe it is the community, right? Because technology is not always the thing that wins. There's plenty of examples where.
Dude, I had an MP3 before I had this baby. This plays music too. I get to listen to all my music on here, guys. And so did my first little ratchet ass MP3 player before this existed. Okay, Apple. And guess what? They forked and ran shit. Forever. Go forever. No one knew it. It happened. Couple nerds knew it, Sam. Like you and me talking Hexan right now. That's why we're here. That's why we're getting into the weeds here. I quit my job. I knew there was innovation here. I wanted to start studying immediately. Did I think it was going to be a 1-year journey? No. Is it a 1-year journey? No. It's a marathon. But I want to be able to put some good information on the internet so maybe a couple guys can get some relief from the, all the Twitter space. It's all garbage. Oh my, Sam, like Elon, they couldn't even stop talking over each other when it's disgusting.
What I think what Elon's going to do with Twitter and how we already see this shaping out is that the space that is actually going to be mainstream media. Right, mainstream media now we think of as this garbage, like stuff that doesn't provide value, that actually hurts society to a great degree, right? Well, what happens when the community of users is the news, right? Kim Dot, whatever, was able to get Elon Musk on his thing, right? And then 100,000 people are listening. And then what do you check your tweet, your Twitter or your Instagram? What do you see? You just see little clips of this, of what's actually taking place. And we're seeing a shift back to actual journalism. We're seeing a shift back to actually understanding what's going on in society by going to the source of the information, not the intermediary. And that is one of the reasons why we're going to go to the source in terms of Hex.com to get the explainer video for Hex. And then we're going to do the same thing for Zen so we can understand what the community or what whoever put it on the website, right? In this case, Richard Hart put it on the website or had somebody put it on the website, and then Zen and what their interpretation of that specific token is. Do you want to pull up?
And we're also going to be talking about the distribution of the tokens and the security. They all do wrap into the conversation. But again, there's some things more important in this conversation to have because there's always going to be guys that'll tell you about the security because that has to be done. But there's never going to be guys that give you the full scope, the full picture, the full idea. They're going to try to mold your mind into do wherever their liquidity's at. Me and Sam know how to do it and make money, and we don't have anything to sell yet at the moment. So we're clean, as we call it in the non-biased space. Like you're clean, like you don't have to sell something. It's hard to be unbiased when you're selling something. That's difficult. Let's get right into this, Sam. I want to we're going to do this slow and we're going to talk really quick. So everyone just relax for a second. One in the chat, if you understand Hex pretty well. You don't have to be like God mode. 2 in the chat if you have fuzzy understanding of Hex and you're just kind of learning or early speculator. I want 1s in the chat if you're solid, 2s in the chat if you're maybe not so solid. And we'll go right through here. This is the hex.com front page.
And if anybody also has questions, please let them leave a question, and then we'll get into those later in the show as well. But go ahead, sir.
So this is the front end. This is basically, it is a little better definitely now, but the same front end that I ran into roughly 550 days ago when I staked Hex for the first time. Okay. Why did I stake Hex for the first time? To be honest, I don't have a gosh damn clue. I was just messing around on the internet, to be quite frank, and learning about crypto. And I saw this guy, Richard Hart, and I had a Bitcoin, and he said, tops in. So I dumped it. I dumped it, Sam. Never looked at it once on Coinbase. Saw it was up big. I saw this big guy on the internet with the top hat on. He said, dump it. I dumped it. I don't know why. I felt inspired by whatever he was saying. And he got through to me in that moment. And then we go down the rabbit hole. I learned about ETH. I learned about Hex. So Hex was GRC's way to figure out crypto. So I think that's important to note. I learned cryptocurrency because of Hex. That's important, I think. And so did you, kind of.
No, 100%.
Dude, that's so crazy. Now, it's hard to think about now because we do this so often. But I contacted you because I was excited about Hex. And then I told you, I think you should pay attention to this shit. It's getting kind of wild up in here and whatever. We talk all the time. So we got down that rabbit hole. We're doing the show together now. And then, wow, Sam, very interesting. So,
but think about that when we get to the community portion of the discussion, right? Because if you and I are doing that, right, then it's happening in other places. And I'm not as well versed inside of the Zen community. Well, I also do, like, I know
Zen community is rather explosive, but it's new. So sometimes you don't get to count then. You have to have some time in the market because let's be honest, those JPEGs with the monkey on them are still doing decent. And that's not going to go fly long term. Probably. I mean, maybe I could be wrong on that.
But there's also in that community, like, so I don't spend a lot of time like chatting with people in Hex very often. I mean, I do, but not like GRC spends more time. I just have other shit going on, right? And I also do the same thing in Zen, right? But when I did get into the Zen Telegram group to chat with people, there was multiple people inside of that community who were like, oh, this is free crypto. You pay a gas fee. And they actually utilize that to bring more people in, right? So you have to be able to have something, I think, to grow the community. Like one of the things that I wrote down is about the community. It has to be active and it has to be growing. But we can get more into these.
I wonder how important it is to have easy onboarding at the end of the day, because the fact is Hex onboarding is the hardest. And I don't care what anyone says. You have to be a neurotic study freak, at least for a couple hours every once in a while. And because you got to dive in. And Sam wouldn't have listened to I would have had to say something that made sense at the time. Or I would have. So yeah, it's guys that are like me who I could punch a story through, and I'm very passionate, and Sam knows that. And I'm not just going to get ramped up every day over nothing. So that was a little friendship thing. But like in general, to bring that out of someone is Dogecoin did it. Dogecoin was the first one to teach. Well, I guess Bitcoin would. And Sam, we got to have to compare this all back to Bitcoin because these two products are similar to Bitcoin more than anything. They're similar to Bitcoin. Everyone can say whatever they want, but they don't really understand. They're similar to Bitcoin. They're tokens, hosted, distribution patterns, buy, sends, trade. And that's what I want to talk about. Get down to the nuts and bolts a little bit. Don't compare it to Aave. Don't compare it to Uniswap duct tape token. That wouldn't make much sense, right, Sam? Although the volume.
So let's force ourselves to stop talking about fun stuff.
Fuck.
Let's get into the video. Then let's get into the second video.
Just cursed
and then because I think you were bringing up some good points here.
We'll stop there. So, guys, that's our little story about Hex. Like, that's kind of how we got involved in crypto, to be honest. And as you can see, I'm one of the biggest Hex critics in history, probably at this point. Like, I criticize Hex often, hard, and I really hope that Richard just like steps up and dominates me and smashes me, and everything is amazing because my T-shares are churning. But anyway, let's go. So, Hex.com, guys, this is a website for an ERC20 token that Richard Hart created. All right. If we look at the website, Hex stakes average 38% returns a year. Okay. We're not going to get into the returns of these things yet. That's not what I want to talk about yet. I want to talk about what is going on. Oh, yeah. We got to go over here.
Because 38%, I've had such stakes.
Sam, stop it. Stop it. Cool. I knew it.
Dude,
I knew it, bro. I knew it. No, stop. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Is there so let's look at this, guys. Hex is a certificate of deposit on the blockchain, which basically means the time value of money comes into play here, Sam. You can stake your ERC20s Hex for a certain amount of time and you earn a certain T-share rate. It's a share rate and you earn certain amounts of yield on that share rate depending on how long and how big you stake. Obviously, the more and the longer, it just gauges up. So in general, Sam, we know that's the second most popular thing at the banks. You are a bank dude. So I've never asked you this question. Holy crap. What does this, I know I'm not talking about price volatility and all that stuff. I'm talking about, do you think the time value of money is something that, one, the banks have done at all appropriately in any way? I'm asking because I don't know. And two, is there real space for something like this where someone else kind of, what do you feel like about Hex as a certificate of deposit on the blockchain?
I think that potentially these Zen and Hex are serving two different purposes, right? Where when you look at Hex and you look at the time value of money, first of all, time value of money is a thing that most people just don't understand, period. Like, you can just stop the conversation right there. But effectively, when you see time value of money, and if that doesn't like bring an understanding to your, like, if I say somebody's name and you don't have a picture of who that person is in your mind, and I say time value of money and you don't get an idea immediately of what that means, one easy way to understand this is, if I was going to give GRC $10,000 today, or give him $10,000, would he rather have $10,000 today, or would he rather have $10,000 in a year from today? He would rather have it today because it's $10,000. Why wait a fucking year? He could take that money and invest it into something so that it's worth $11,000 in a year from today, right? So that's the time value of money. There is definitely a giant market for this. I used to work in banking, and you'd have these 85-year-old couples, or male or female or whatever, come in, and they would lock their money up in a CD, which is certificate of deposit. They would lock it up in a CD for a fraction of 1% for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, earning diddly effing squat on their money. So when you think about the market,
you watched a lot of adult people that have real jobs and money and buy shit and have kids actually utilize these things, and you're here to tell me that it was a waste of time and money.
Yes.
Dude, but you're a bank, dude. Tell them that you're a banker, dude. You did this stuff for real. And I don't know.
But I don't necessarily mean that as in like Hex's diddly squat. I mean that
I know about the people out there. Like, how many billions of dollars did people waste on certificates of deposit with the banks?
Oh, I personally believe
it's my God.
I believe it's in the trillions.
Oh my God, Sam. What the fuck? For real?
Yeah.
The trillions? People do this often?
Massive. Yes. But here's the thing. Most people don't understand it. And I'm not trying to say that a CD is a bad thing. It's a bad thing in legacy. Yes, I agree it's a bad thing in legacy. But a lot of people utilize it, right? So if you have $7 billion, understand the time value of money.
No, they don't understand. They literally the opposite. $7 trillion in the United States does not understand the time value of money, and that's why they put it into a CD. So the opposite, switch it around.
Because I mean, if you're earning 1% and I'm earning 16%, in the long run, I'm going to be way, way, way ahead of you.
Inflation is like 25% a year.
So here's the one thing: how you look at things in risk, in legacy world, in finance world, right? You look at them in a spectrum, right? Just like everything in life is a spectrum. Your testosterone doesn't just get shut off from doing TRT or testosterone, right? Your natural levels don't. It's like you're here, you're at full throttle, right? And you take testosterone, and there's a spectrum here where you have a range where you might go through. Down here, you still might feel like shit, but you're producing some testosterone. So when you think about this spectrum, think about risk. So the idea behind a CD and legacy and money markets is that there's very little risk involved. There's a very little risk. So it is easy to control people if you can get them to think about risks and you solving that risk, right? Because why did people wear diapers on their face for the last 36 months? Because they were scared. Whether it was scared of something that was just fucking made up, or whether it was scared of somebody saying, hey, you need to wear a diaper on your face, right? They're scared to stand up. So when you can get people to be scared about losing their money and stuff like that, it's easier to get people to lock their shit up or do things like that. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Well, when you're getting 1% in inflation, I don't really care about the way it's done. I just feel bad people were just getting 1% for that sucks. That sucks. You could do a lot with money. Like you can get a computer and then like do something with it and make money with that or whatever. Do something, bro.
I was talking about this coaching program that I'm literally considering. It's like 12 grand, right? 12 grand. To do
he told me this on the phone yesterday.
Take your fucking money, put it into a coaching program. Like,
yeah, it might not be the most or it could be not. Who the hell knows? But don't put it in the bank with a 1%er. Like I'd rather put it into a big bundle so I could hit someone in the head with it in case they came by rather than put it in the bank, because then it would be more useful to me. Literally, I would rather have more use out of smacking someone in the head with it than because what the heck, I can't even get it out of the bank on the weekends. Sometimes like I go to the bank. Whoops. I didn't even know that, Sam, until like 3 weeks ago. Like you couldn't bring cash to the bank at all the times.
I have two people, and
we have to stop. We have to stop. No, we're not allowed to do this. This is like my whole thing on the show today. We weren't allowed to talk.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so you
let's play this video to switch it up, Sam. I know, but trust me, we're gonna have a million amazing conversations, and I'm gonna set up so many amazing streams coming up, and you're just gonna have nothing but joy at 11 a.m. Eastern. So we're going to play this real quick. This is on the Hex front page. We're going to explain Hex. And I know a lot of the guys in here understand Hex, but we're going to have to get into some of the negative externalities too, along with some of the positives. So I like Hex a lot because you can gain a lot of that appreciation of Ethereum without having to have your hands on the coins because you can stake them. And I say Ethereum because it is a derivative of Ethereum to a degree, right, Sam? Like it's a pair to Ethereum, it's a pair to USDC. Like these things have to be moved. And Richard kind of taught me that, to be honest. But we have to understand what's going on. And these things can change a lot over the years. So let's watch this little 3-minute video, guys. And I am not afraid to buy way more Hex if it goes to a penny. Like, oh my God. So there's probably 100,000 people that feel that way. So.
You've been critical of Hex. I agree. I've been critical to the point, but I haven't said it out loud as much. I've just not bought a lot of Hex, period. And I think I mentioned this, when we had the bug that was found in Icosa, and there was the bug found in one of the poly contract. It was at that time that I started just not much, but just smidge DCAing into Hex for the first time. I have not been buying Hex. So that was the first time I've actually started to build a position in Hex for the first time. Like I have a teeny bit of Hex at stake.
And you did it like a gentleman too, instead of like a friggin' asshole. Like, imagine if he bought like 500,000 hex the day I told him about it. I would have been like not his friend anymore and like really sketched out because you would have gotten wrecked. You'd have been wrecked, but everything's wrecked. And like he would have picked that up and everyone, I'm not, you know what I mean. Guys, I'm not going to say this out loud because it's a secret tweet, little giveaway. I've been doing little giveaways. But, 10 BMBP, Piers.eth won last night. If you retweet the tweet and like the tweet, I'll pick one at the end of the show. Let's play the video. That's 10 BMBP.
The secret to gaining the highest.
Yeah, it muted. We can't hear it at all.
Your hex.
Receive shares. It's kind of. The secret to gaining the highest ROI in Hex lies in a little-known mechanism called shares. When you stake your Hex, you receive shares. It's kind of like a guarantee. Your shares guarantee you back your principal, plus a percentage of interest and bonuses over time. The key to achieving the highest ROI in Hex is acquiring as many shares as you possibly can by staking early and staking long. The earlier you stake and the longer you stake, the higher your ROI will be. The brilliance of the share design is this. Every time a stake is ended anywhere in the world, those shares are effectively burned. They cease to exist. This means that every single day there are less and less shares to be had. This also means that every moment you wait to get in stake Hex, the share pool is dwindling. Now, why does that matter? Hex is programmed to pay out the highest interest and rewards to those who own the most shares. That's why it matters. Staking early is key, but it's not everything. How do you get the most shares? You stake longer than everyone else. The maximum length you can stake is 5,555 days, or 15.2 years. If you want to get into Hex early and become a whale, how do you do it? You stake today, right now, this very moment, and you stake for 5,555 days. As everyone else's stakes expire, you end up holding the largest bag of shares in the network. This guarantees you receive the largest percentage of interest and bonuses. Don't want to wait 15 years to realize your profit? The beauty of Hex is that it's designed to pay out perpetual passive income to its holders, just like a traditional banking CD. This is done by creating what we call a stake ladder. Imagine if you had 1 million Hex and you broke it up into 65,000 Hex stakes from year 1 to 15, setting a stake every year for 15 years. This is called a stake ladder, and there are many ways to design them to work best for you. Some Hexers create a staking ladder that pays them every 2 years, some every quarter, and some every month. The idea is that on a semi-regular basis, you'll have fully mature stakes that you can cash out for the next 15 years, or even indefinitely. The smartest Hexers have plans to only cash out the interest each period and restake their principal out for 15 more years. This allows them to earn passive income indefinitely from Hex. Hex is a vastly superior product to that of traditional banking time deposit accounts, and it's the purest form of decentralized finance. There is no company, no middlemen, and no gatekeepers in Hex. It's a triple audited autonomous product built on the blockchain that has 100% uptime. Welcome to the future.
That video is nothing but relaxing. Frankly.
Music. What do you?
That was a good video. Nice way to show it. There's some stuff in between that we can talk about right now, and some negative externalities, right? They have to deal with Ethereum gas. Ethereum gas is very hard to deal with. Ethereum gas is very sensitive, and Ethereum is very popular. And many other people can get awesome things going on Ethereum too. And that's where Zen comes in, right? And people can say whatever they want. They think Zen's a copy of whatever they think. It does not matter. Everyone says this copy word, like Hex copied Zen, Zen copied Hex. I'm like, copied what? I didn't even know you could find the code. I thought I was asking people, can you even find the code? I didn't know. And I don't know if that's a big deal. I just don't know, frankly.
It's not open source.
What? It's not. But does that mean I can't? take a gander, or is that like legality wise?
Legally, like Richard would sue you if that was the case. Oh,
Cool. Well, that's fine. I don't even think that's a bad thing. I have no clue if that's a bad thing, frankly. But in the world of technology and innovation, open source is like the way that you would feel like the best player would feel like they had the best stuff, and then they would be open source. And then other people could copy them and they could still dominate because they're that far down that. Like, who's going to copy Tesla? Good luck. Good luck. Sam's like, I'm going to copy Tesla now. Good luck.
So far, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's like, well, I still believe he's smart. I still believe he could run a good company. Good luck going against that guy right now because he's in his whatever. So then we get a guy like Zen Crypto that comes along, Sam. And I want to know what your take before we start. And you can round out your Hex thoughts. Okay, let me round out my negative externalities about Hex. And again, I'm an unorganized guy and I just want to talk now, but I'm going to Sam's going to help me keep through this. Gas fees can be a huge problem when it comes to scaling because if there's issues and you have to end stake, people have done lots of end stakes. But again, maybe that's some of the rewards you get from being an early adopter. You lose on the back end because you're not certain of the future, right? But maybe someone fixes that, like Alex from Hedron. Like, to think people won't build on Hex is silly. Silly.
So I think that problem will be solved, right? With not necessarily sharding, but like other pieces of their roadmap on Ethereum. Now, it will get solved. I believe that to be a true statement. When? The time, right? And in that time, does a bubble get popped, as in like to do a 1 year stake because fees are $700 per transaction? Does it not make sense there to do that? I'm not sure. Or more than likely, is there something else that comes along that is also very innovative or garners a lot of attention in a community that is very active and that continues to grow in the meantime before that gets solved? Or is this something that you and I consider, but in the reality, people are very myopic, which is just short-sighted, and they make decisions today and they don't think about the consequences in 3 years, 6 years, 12 years, whatever it is that they just decide to lock their money up for, right? I don't know where it is. We're just having an open conversation around this, right?
Yeah. And it's important that when we're having this conversation, we are not just bluffing, right? We can't just sit here and pretend like we know a bunch of details. When someone starts talking out of detail, and Sam can tell, me and him just both look at each other and we're just like, he didn't know any of it. We don't say it, but when you're friends, you can tell. And Sam at the end of the show will be like, hey, it'd be best if you don't have that guy on again, just because we're all busy. And I'm like, yeah, you're good. And then he'll leave and we'll be like, well, he's such a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, but it's true because we're all thinking the same exact thing. I can't waste another moment of my life with someone who's pretending to have critical detail, but not. I don't mind if you don't, but I don't like pretending. I spent the last 400 days making sure I knew exactly what was going on so that I could have a little bit of like gusto in a conversation and really feel like, okay, I know what's going on here to a degree. Yeah, there's topics that I asked Sam about banking. I don't even know half what the words are, but it's Sam. It's all the same game. One thing I'm good at is games. I've always been good at games. Like, I can get good at games, get really good at them quick. And crypto was easy compared to other shit that I've done. Studying pharmacology and hormones, 10 times harder because it's interaction with the human, right? With the human hormone system. And then that has to get extrapolated through understanding. And that crypto's like, oh, you provide LP, goes out of the range. Oh, it's so stupid. It makes no sense. It's like, yeah, but then every kid in America will jab Trent in his ass when he's 16 because he gets a little. But anyway, we're going to play a little Zen Crypto video, Sam, because I need to frankly take a chill pill.
Say hi to Pacific Northwest.
Pacific's one of my the goats. Okay, I love Pacific Northwest Hexagon. Good morning. At some point in the stream, will you both give your thoughts on PHEX versus EHEX? 100%. And I will give you my dirty little thoughts about that pair right off the jump. And I will tell you my dirty little thoughts about how I am going to capitalize on that. I'm not going to, this is all fake US dollar. I'm not talking about what I'm actually going to do. I'm not a financial advisor or a doctor, believe it or not. But I want you to understand that I have some good insight on that. I played with ETH Pal right on the fork. I listened to all Richard's videos about pre-fork, post-fork game theory for hours on end. Sam, I love that. Let's talk about that at the end for sure. I'm going to star that one. Let's play this video so I can literally get my head back straight because I am too dopaminergic at this moment for no actual reason. I just get excited, bro. Like, and I hope one day I look back and it's just like, yeah, dude, you were excited, bro, because that shit was legit. But anyway, Sam, I did a 3-hour live stream yesterday, and the guys never started the Twitter space. I just chatted the whole time. So I said, F's in the chat for me. F's in the chat for GRC. And Mario, I'm going to have you on a steak, bro. That was wrecked. Anyway, just kidding. Love everybody. Let's listen to this video. Real quick explainer, Zen Crypto. A crypto I'm very fond of because of the distribution method. And that's one thing, Sam, we have to talk about. The distribution method of both of these cryptos. Because that is a critical piece that everyone skips because it's in the past, right, Sam? It already happened with Uniswap and the duct tape token. So I told you yesterday, I didn't even really remember how it was distributed, but I remembered the amount. But like, oh, it's all gone now, right? It's all blah, 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 blah. No. Who's got that shit? Where is it? What human bodies are sitting there pretending like they, and then you see in a bear market, it all comes 99ing. But is that okay? Let's talk about Zen Crypto right now. I like Zen Crypto. I was the first person on the internet to cover Zen Crypto. Period. End of story. I was the first guy to have an interview with Jack Levin about Zen Crypto. Period. End of story. So I want some likes, bro. Run them likes up.
Crypto project, Jack Levin believes that his project can change the world and transform. The founder of Zen Crypto project, Jack Levin believes that his project can change the world and transform how we engage with crypto. Now, that's not something we haven't heard before, but he's got some pretty convincing arguments. So in this video, we'll take a look at Zen, what it is, what it seeks to achieve, and essentially how the Zen ecosystem currently works. What is Zen Crypto? Well, to understand Zen, you need to know where it came from. Zen is a project created by Jack Levin under the Fair Crypto Foundation. The foundation was established to create crypto projects that embody the first principles of crypto. Now, that reminds me of Satoshi's white paper, which specifies certain characteristics of crypto, such as self-custody, transparency, immutability, trust through consensus, and permissionless value exchange. These features are known as the first principles of crypto, and I know these sound like boring technical stuff, but they are central to what Zen and the Fair Crypto Foundation hope to achieve. They'll become important later on in this video, so let's explain them briefly. Self-custody in crypto means that you and only you have control over your private keys. That's the whole point of crypto, right? To take control away from institutions and put it back into the hands of people. Immutability means that once a transaction is made, it cannot be changed. This is achieved through cryptography and ensures that no one can tamper with the transaction history. Transparency is also a key principle of crypto. Think of this as the fact that blockchain data is publicly available for anyone to see. This is what allows us to trace every transaction and verify its authenticity. Trust through consensus means that as long as a block shows that a transaction is complete, it is considered valid. This is what prevents fraud and double spending in the crypto world. Finally, permissionless value exchange simply refers to the fact that in crypto, anyone can send or receive value without needing permission from a third party or government. So those are the first principles of cryptocurrencies, and only a few cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin actually embody these first principles. In other words, Bitcoin is a fair cryptocurrency because it was designed to embody these first principles. Unfortunately, most other cryptocurrencies have strayed away from these principles and have introduced things that go against the very nature of crypto, such as KYC, AML requirements, centralized exchanges, permissioned blockchains, and so on. The founder of Zen argues that the disregard for these principles has increased the prevalence of scams like pump and dump schemes and has made cryptocurrencies less accessible and increasingly centralized. This is where Zen Crypto comes in. So what exactly is Zen and how does it solve these problems? Let's take a look at 7 key features it has to help you understand better. First of all, Zen was pre-mined. It was fairly launched. What does this mean? A pre-mined crypto is essentially when a team or a founder allocates a certain number of tokens to themselves before the project is even launched.
All right, Sam, we'll go back to the video, but I need to open up that topic because I want to do the comparison from there. Distribution, Sam, you know those two pretty well. Like Richard's distribution was to Bitcoin holders for free, right? But we all know that the OA is one of the biggest problems with guys in Hex, right? And it's not because it won't be around and the people won't make a bunch of money in the future. It's because a lot of those mainstream guys with or $1 million buys, people like to say that's not going to happen over there. And, you know, maybe that's not important, Sam, but what do you see? With Zen Crypto, I see the liquidity adding up really quick and new users, even like yourself, like being able to get in the mix there very quickly, like a liquidity pool that's safe-ish very quickly, Sam, under 50 days. What do you think there about the distribution? We all know that Zen, we covered that like the last 3 weeks, the distribution, but to me, it's fair. It's a gas fee derivative, and basically that's it from my side, but I want you to go. Sorry.
Yes, if you contrast Hex distribution to Zen distribution, Hex was distributed to people who had Bitcoin, right? So these people were already in crypto who had money somewhere in crypto, right? They had it in Bitcoin. Cool, that's an awesome distribution method, or at least it was at the time, and it worked. Zen has a little bit different of a distribution method, and the founder doesn't own 90% of the supply, right? And some people like to argue that the founder owning 90% of the supply is a good thing, understandably, right? But there's also a argument to be had on the other side, right? So anything that you say on one side, there's also an opposing view on the opposite side, right? Where somebody can easily argue that's a negative thing. So you have that whole discussion to have, right? Whether it is a good thing or a bad thing, right? One, you know, hey, your mom's dead unless you do this thing. Okay, cool, then shoot my mom, right? Or that something could happen with this, right? That is a risk factor that you need to consider, especially if you're putting money into something, period. And the degree at which you base your decision solely off of that is going to be on your personal understanding of what's going on in your personal belief system. Now, Zen was attractive to people who believe in the fundamentals of crypto, right? Not having the immutable code, we just talked about it in this video here, and having the fair distribution so that it's not all in one player's hands, right? So the people who are attracted to that are different. There are people who are in there who are just trying to make money, right? Because that's the other thing. People are like, okay, well, over on this side, you have one dude who owns 90% of the supply, acts like a clown on the internet, etc., right? And then you have the risk of him fucking shit up, right? While on this side, you have people who create bots and they try to mine as much as they can of that, right? Well, on everything, you're going to have a pro and a con. So you want to look at it from both sides of things. Excuse me. And if you look at the supply side over here, where Zen is done, yes, that can happen, right? Excuse me. But there's a lot of those players who are just trying to take that and dump it very quickly. I don't know of any personally. I know of plenty of players who created bots, but they're not actually acquiring it. They're not.
Well, the people that dump it are the ones that buy it. So the dumpers are the buyers. So it's just people buying, but you have to buy similar valuation, right? It's not like the guys that are dumping bought it for literally nothing.
There's also a massive influx of volume in Zen.
We'll talk about that. Don't you worry. So we talked about the mint phase a little bit, but let's get it straight. Richard says, I think centralized ownership is the way. He says it. He says it's the way. I don't care what anyone says. He said it 1 million times, and maybe he's right, but maybe he's wrong. And Bitcoin wasn't really designed. He tried to make a better Bitcoin, right? He said it 1 million times. But the OA thing, that's the piece that he picked on that side. Whether you think he did it for money or for proper structure or whatever, it doesn't make a goddamn difference what you think. So let's get back.
And both have worked and both have not worked, right? Mm-hmm. No Nobody owns the.
Oh yeah, it's all about community. That's why you have to do all this stuff with crypto, the 4 or 5 legs, because it's not just one piece. It's not enough to be decentralized. It's not enough to be immutable. It's not enough to just have a bunch of people that do nothing. It's not enough to have a founder that does nothing, but it isn't to have all those things. You create an ecosystem, a walled garden. That Richard talks about a walled garden a lot, something that I don't really know what it means, but it's like, it's just like, it's a safe, but like can't be.
Think of like Apple as a walled garden, right? Because you have churn in business, which is like how easily somebody can leave your business, right? Or leave your, like people who rent apartments and they have a internet service provider have a low churn rate. And the reason is because they can't leave. Their complex will make a deal with one company where they get a kickback or something to do that one company, right? So in this case, if you lock your money up in Hex, then for 6 years or 9 years or whatever it is, your shit's locked up in there, period. So it's very sticky money, right? It's very sticky, but that's not necessarily the case with Zen. People can just get out of it as soon as they want to get out of it, but it's got a completely different distribution method.
Well, and the guy is just going chronic builder mode on it. Like he's going nuts, man. All this AI art, it's crazy, man. I love it all. Anyway, I think Jack and Richard are both decent guys. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. I think they're both decent guys. I ain't going to say that they're perfect. I ain't going to say they don't do weird shit. I'm not going to say that they're not God's blessing to this earth. But I'm going to tell you what. I don't think they're trying to hurt anyone. I don't. And people will be hurt in the process. So they're going out of their way to like do something that maybe they feel has really important to it. Or maybe they're just, who knows? I'm just speculating. But in my opinion, if you guys want to know, I really do think they're both decent guys. And I think the story generally is somewhere in the middle of what most people think.
This is often done in order to fund the project, or as we've seen in many cases, for the problems. Let's take a look at 7 key features it has to help you understand better. First of all, Zen was pre-mined. It was fairly launched. What does this mean? A pre-mined crypto is essentially when a team or a founder allocates a certain number of tokens to themselves before the project is even launched. This is often done in order to fund the project, or as we've seen in many cases, for the team or founders to cash out later on. Zen was different because it did not do this. It was fairly launched, meaning that everyone had an equal opportunity to get Zen when it launched. There was no pre-mine, no ICO, and no airdrop. The reason this matters is that it's in line with the project's goals. Zen aims to become a universal and easily accessible cryptocurrency, and by fairly launching it, they hope to achieve this. Number 2, Zen supports self-custody. Remember earlier when we talked about the first principles of crypto and how self-custody is one of them? Well, Zen supports this principle by allowing users to mint Zen only when they are in control of their keys. This is a big deal because it means that you are in complete control of your Zen and no one can take it away from you or freeze your account. Additionally, it also makes it much harder for scammers to steal your Zen since they would need access to your private keys in order to do so. Number 3, Zen is an open source smart contract. Zen is a smart contract and not a new blockchain. It's a smart contract that runs on Ethereum. A smart contract is a protocol that allows the performance of credible transactions without third parties. This means that Zen transactions are expected to be transparent and can be verified by anyone. Additionally, it also means that there is no middleman needed to facilitate these transactions. But that's only half of the equation. The other half is that Zen is open source. This ties back to the project's belief in transparency. An open source project is one where the source code is publicly available for anyone to view, edit, or use. This allows for anyone to audit the code and ensure that there are no malicious lines of code that could be used to exploit Zen holders. Number 4, Zen uses an ERC20 token standard. ERC20 is a technical standard used for smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain for implementing tokens. It defines a common list of rules that all Ethereum tokens must follow, giving developers the ability to create interoperable tokens that can be used in a variety of decentralized applications or dApps. The reason this matters is that it makes Zen compatible with a wide range of applications and wallets. So even if Zen's own wallet doesn't support a certain feature, there's a good chance that another wallet that does support that feature will be able to support Zen. This also means that you'll be able to trade Zen for other tokens since most exchanges support ERC20 tokens. Next up, Zen has an immutable code. What does this mean? Earlier on, we talked about immutability and how it's...
So, Sam, I just want to open that up for one quick second before we get back to that. That's a big factor. We talked about it in the beginning. We touched on it. One of the things that keeps these things surviving is the fact that they're hosted on the internet, Sam. And as long as there's liquidity in that pool, I don't know what to tell you.
I was thinking about this. They're trying to serve different purposes, right? Where Hex has been purported to go up in value, right? And that at some point gets too heavy, right? I don't think it's necessarily going to happen now, but I also don't believe it's going to have another 10,000x in this next bull run. Possible, could be 100% wrong, right? We're at 3.5% of the world in crypto. If over the next,
I don't think that's possible. I really don't think that's possible,
right?
Like by math, like literal, like physicality of money. There's not enough money for that, unless everyone it would just be
$300 for one hex, $300.
And there's how many units? Yeah, with the liquidity, obviously we're just poking around because liquidity.
I don't think a lot of people would be able to believe that.
Sell. They wouldn't be able to sell.
Because then think about what that would mean for the market cap of something to be, $87 trillion or whatever.
And we're just talking this cycle.
Correct.
By the way, we weren't talking forever, guys. Well, seriously, we're talking like a 3-year outspan. And I think Richard would agree with that. I think everyone would agree with that. That's not
so. What that would represent if Hex is like $6 billion today, right? That would be 60,000 billion. So, or another way of saying that is $60 trillion market cap. There's it's going to slow down at some point, whether you think that that's accurate or inaccurate. Like, is it going to get another 10,000x over maybe double or triple the amount of time? Yeah, cool. It could, right? But then you understand that that's going to slow down at some point.
Look at this tab I just pulled up. 60 million of on-chain liquidity. I just pulled this up. I was just looking through it. And this is what's on the website. So I'm thinking on the top of my head, that's like a third of the truth. I think there's 33% about 20 million of on-chain liquidity. I don't know if that is that a SEC violation to not have the proper liquidity. I don't know. Probably not. But anyways, at the time of writing this, I see. At the time of writing this, Sam. So the first sentence. At the time of writing this, there's over 60 million of on-chain liquidity just on Uniswap alone. Despite people already having cashed out millions of dollars to pay off mortgages, buy cars, that is true. There is a lot of liquidity in Hex, and people have bought a lot of stuff. And it's low.
And I could also be wrong. It could have a 10,000x, right? And just because we've never seen something get to 60,
so it would have to not be it would have to be so heavy staked. There would have to be such a heavy stake number rather than the liquid supply, because everyone knows when Hex is staked, it's actually burnt. So it's just a unit of accounting on the front end. So again, that could cause a pinch with the low liquidity if somebody monitored it. But I mean, at what point is that too big for a human? You know what I mean? But
if you get more and more plebs in,
if the OA is centralized, dude, he could play this game, boy. And maybe that's why Richard's great. Why is Richard so great? Because he understands the fundamental thing that makes price go up, and he played the game the best the guy could play it at the time. And he threw out some work that captured a lot of attention and captured a lot of eyeballs, and frankly made a lot of people a lot of profit. And if you use it correctly, for sure you can make major profit. Frankly, I think most people make many mistakes when they stake their Hex and it generally is related to how much money they have otherwise. Like, how much of your money did you just burn and put into a unit of accounting on a front end? Let's hold the phone up for 15. Hold on, Sam. We talked in the beginning about how they get people at the banks for however long for 1%. They don't see that money. They'd probably be dead by the time that shit comes out, literally. And I think that's like the point. They're like, hey, your grandkids will love it. And you're like, all right. But anyway, so 60
Well,
as times, I think it's more like 20 million now.
But that could be a tremendous like feature of it where when I look at Zen, so say over this next bull run, I think that potentially Hex is going to probably outperform. And I don't know when this is definitely not a recommendation for you to put your money anywhere or any of those.
In X's?
In anywhere, in anything. Not like I'm going to say something.
Well, you might be right. It depends how much it grows before we start going up again. Because it's just, it really is building liquidity.
And it depends on gas fees for Zen, right? Like it depends heavily. Zen is a derivative of a gas fee, right? So when you,
but then anyone who builds on it, it just becomes not that. And there's pictures, NFTs, AI art, fucking everyone's doing crazy shit. I'm just assuming here that people are going to be. He is making this to be mass built on.
And it's also time too. We got time in both of those pieces, right? Because what happens in Zen over time? You mint less, right? So your minting is going to be coming down, while at the same time, at least in this next bull run, I don't think that Ethereum is going to solve their gas fee problem. So you're going to have minting of Zen coming down, gas fees going up, right? Which then has a positive effect on the price if demand is still there. That's going to be a question we're going to have to see, because Zen is so, right? It's 2 months old, Zen, right? So how is it going to perform during this run is going to be very interesting. I'm watching the number of holders, but I want to know.
The truth is 99% of hexagons actually think they know what Zen is, and they'd have zero clue because they haven't even looked at it. Because the first time Richard said something, they never looked at it again. And that's why if you're in here, Sam is literally not on either side of this fence. Sam is just talking about what's going on right this second. Like, what can we see? Like, just understand. If you go back in time and look at we talk about Zen the whole time, right? The whole chart we do show every day. You've been nothing but calculated about the way we've talked about it and dealt with it. Every single hexagon has been nothing but ignorant that I've ran into that doesn't like decently like it, because they're similar, right, Sam? Why would you hate one over the other? Is it because you're picking football teams? I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. Why? My grandpa said it when I was little. So now sometimes I'm like, oh, the Cowboys, we hate them, whatever. It's a joke, right? But that's not financial investing. That's a joke. That's a little fun every once in a blue moon. It's not millions of dollars. I don't pick squads like that. I'm not a dumbass. I'm not about to be hypnotized by some guys that get butt hurt over nothing. So, but because that's leadership, right? We need real leadership, and that's the whole leadership piece with the community, and the leadership portion is a big. But I forgot what the fuck I was talking
about. I'm not. What do you see in the Zen community that you think
domination? Just a lot more now seen in anything.
Activity wise,
just lots more professional, more paid attention to, more help if you need it, more proper understanding with real detailed links. And I'm more of an Ethereum guy, right? Like I vibe with those guys, the technical dorks, and that's the content that I like. And that's the vibe I get. I believe it's clean, honest. And to be honest, Sam, you know how powerful I feel when I know you can't have that much more Zen than me. It's not really that possible. Unless you were doing dumb shit. Like you would have to be getting a little weird with it, because, you'd be buying a point and pray to God it doesn't go down. I would have to do the same thing. But I've been watching this thing the whole time. I've been doing the lowest valuation plays you could possibly imagine. And I've got a good beat for the 1-to-1 derivative price of it. And I know that the floor is ish. Like it just depends on the speculative stickiness of it. But it's between $3 and $4 a mint on the low. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Like it's a $4 for that much $4 over here. So how low can it really go? Oh, wait, people love this shit. Oh, wait, no one understands it. Oh, wait, you can stake it. Oh, wait, if you press staking, Sam, here's one couple of things I like about Zen. You know the computational power of the T-share rate, right? We talked about that, how it's very difficult, or not difficult, how it's very computationally tiresome, I guess, because it has to account for everyone else's and yours accounting as you go forward. So when you press end stake, you've accounted for a lot of computations with Zen, they don't have that. It's just one VMU when you go on your end stake. But then if you press the stake claim feature, you can just stake it for up to 1,000 days without ever touching your wallet. And then it's not a tax. Well, depending on your jurisdiction, you could be anywhere.
Well, that the thing though, right? So is if you can,
and I just find that as a negative externality. That's the only reason I was pointing that out. I just like that little piece of it because I don't like gas.
Say you can get 50,000 Zen right now for a $5 mint, right?
For a day?
Well, I don't know. I think it's per day.
I would say it's probably like 10,000 or 20.
You think is that low already? I think that's.
I don't know. Hey, anyone in the chat do daemons?
I think they from the conversation.
Just keep talking what you were saying, and I'll just look it up.
Okay, I think that it will take years for that to go down. It's going to go down at a faster rate of time than the number of users entering Zen. From my conversation with Jack, is how I understood that. That means that if you add on, say, 1 year of time, the amount of decrease in mintable Zen goes down by a substantial amount. Versus if you go from 0 users to 6 million people who have Zen, the amount that it decreases in mintable Zen has less of an impact than it would for the.
I just did a 1 day Zen mint for $5.52.
And how many?
Let me look at it's loading still.
Okay, cool. That's good. Do you have that up there and convenient to take a look at? So that's the thing that I'm like. I like Zen. I like how it's distributed. I like Hex. I like that the fun.
Sam, you're not gonna believe me, bro. You're not gonna believe me, bro. You're not gonna believe me, bro.
Is it
You're
5?
not gonna believe me, bro. Guess how many Zen it is?
For a single day mint.
1 day.
For 5, and it was $5 in gas.
Yes.
Is it 200?
No, it's more than that. 3,000.
3,000. Damn.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro. People don't get it. They don't get it. Dude, I've been trying to show everyone. My stomach gets scared, because
wait. Did you actually process the transaction yet, or no?
It's already over, bro. It said estimated Zen 3,097. C rank 4,775,948. I'm gonna cry, bro. This is gonna get really ugly. This is gonna get really ugly, brother.
Wow. I have not gone through to try.
I had no idea, bro. I thought I guessed like 30,000.
You guessed like 10,000 or 5,000.
No, I said 20 or 30, literally. And I literally thought that. And I was trying to keep it
Okay, so let's do the math on that.
That just doxes that I don't mint after day one.
Okay, so you get, what is it, 3,000 even roughly? Divided by 5.
I paid $5.50 something cents for a 1 day mint that ends tomorrow.
Okay, so $5.50 divided by 3,000, right?
Yeah,
we'll pay 3,300. Just assume more people come in there.
Here, I'll pull it up. What? I've never used this wallet for anything in my life. This is a new computer.
Oh man! So that means the effective price that's going on here is, okay. Here we go. If you paid $5.50, so $5.50 divided by 3,097, you paid effectively 0.0017 or 18 for.
Sam, do you know why I'm so confident about the floor now? Do you see what I've been saying this whole time? Look, Sam, it's 60,000 Zen is 50 cents.
Oh, check this
Sam,
out.
don't talk about this shit anymore. Don't get excited and go into it. We'll talk after because I've been trying to slowly tell everyone. Because I've been studying this shit since day one. I really have. And I don't study that much stuff, Sam. I really don't. 3 products every day. And I'm just trying to show people that I told, guys like K4K Crypto, they came on here, they lied to you. They lied. And it's not about K4K. I hope he steps up, and I think he's a decent dude. I think he's a little limpy, but that's it. And I'm just telling people, remember when I was talking about liquidity providing sideways on ETH 472 transactions a day when I brought it up, I think, on the day that I brought it up. And I was earning like, a couple dollars an hour, which again, my stack was little. I still play around with this shit. Maybe there was $1,000 in there, I think. And it got shot out of range, and I didn't give a rat's ass because I was learning. Like, that's the whole point. Now ETH is sitting in there, and I'm just going to think about it. And it's because on my, you know what I'm saying, Sam? But I really want you to be a leader here intellectually, not like as a fucking cheerleader. I don't give a shit about none of that, because I need your help. Some of these numbers get complicated because there's factors that Jack is putting factors on top of factors on top of factors. And frankly, I want to get Jack Levin on tonight. And I will also ask Richard Hart in a very nice way on his best, not spam his DMs, but maybe like email him or something, or whatever he uses, and try to get one of them on separate for each other. But Sam, this thing is painting cycles, within 40 days. That takes 3 years.
Talk about the floor right here, right? So we had the LP start out very, very high, and we saw this giant sell-off, which we were expecting, right? Then right here we see
Sam, start it where the first sideways, like just move, like where that big line is. I don't like it because it's not real volume. Wasn't enough going on yet. Right there, right? A little bit more left, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Right there, right? One more click to the right. All right, right there is fine. So look, guys, this thing just came out. There's no liquidity in it. No one's losing money. Guys like Toby calling my phone telling me, how dare you get people to lose money when every single person in the asset that he owns is down and wrecked and like real lots of US dollars. I told everyone that I spent $200 on mints and that I was going to keep an eye on her and try to buy the bottom. What exactly did I do? I spent a couple $100 on mints and I kept an eye on her and I bought the bottom. And I'm not saying that the bottom's in forever, guys. I'm not some genie motherfucker. Like nuclear shit, anything can happen. The COVID-19, the monkeypox. You never know with that kind of crazy stuff. And maybe what if a Vitalik doesn't like it or something, and then they get all big brain on it and start going weird with it. But anyway, Sam, when we're talking about US dollar in, US dollar out, you don't have to be a genius to see these numbers, Sam, right? Like you just have to pay attention to them. And the numbers really show that it's the direct gas fee derivative with a little speculative stickiness. But did someone tell you could buy 60,000 Zen for 50 cents?
Probably. I'll pull it up in a second.
And Sam, people DM me all day calling me an idiot for buying Zen. Because they're mentors, they're not haters. They're like, oh, I just mint. I said, well, you're perma-wrecked. Have fun looking at your computer for the rest of your goddamn life. Every goddamn day. Like, I'm just going to go into my swap and like take 40% out and just like go buy a fucking Lambo. Like, but I'm not saying I won't stake. I'm not saying I won't have long-term options. I'm not saying I won't have LP options. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying think about what the F you do before you do it. And you can watch this show every day if you'd like. I'm going to be here for at least another year or two. But once I get to a certain point with all this, and I could get wrecked to zero. But if, normal stuff happens and good, decent life and I make it, I'm probably going to not be spilling my shit all over here. I'm going to be building LP bots and buying dirt bikes and shit.
So for $5.50, right, which is roughly what you just spent, for $5.50, you can buy 850,000 Zen.
And nobody knows this, Sam, on the planet. On the planet. Those guys in China that are doing heavy buys, they don't understand the distribution method. Those guys all over Hex, they don't understand the distribution method. The guys in my DMs telling me I'm wrecked for buying Zen and saying, oh, it has to go down. Richard Hart said it. It has to go down, right? Richard said it, right? I'm here to say Richard never looked and he never cared. And I actually went on a Twitter space and wanted to talk to him about the Hex gas fee. And he immediately called me a fucking shill. And I've been studying the dude and praising, his good word for many. Of course, I highlight both sides of things. But he didn't, that's how that went. And we talked about the community and leadership and founder part. That's a little bit of like your own decision. And, and I like Richard as a guy. Like, I think he's cool. I think he has blind spots. I think he has a lot of blind spots. But I think he has spots in him that are smarter than me and all that shit. He's smart as shit.
What do you think is the catalyst that drives demand in Zen? What do you think it's the one factor that's kind of like?
Well, I don't know if people really care. That's not even, this isn't too early for that. There's guys like me that might make out like really good on this, but no one even listens to me when I say this shit except you. Like I've said this stuff 150 times. And like, but it's hard. I get it though. Like Sam has fucking 100 things going on. I happen to be the first guy that covered Zen. Like I'm just all over it. Like I'm like thinking about it a lot. But I'm willing to share all these things because Zen is fairly distributed, Sam. So I don't have to worry. I didn't even know about that rate change so heavy. But guess what? I did my mints on day one. I got a good rate. Maybe I'll be a billionaire. Maybe I won't. I don't fucking know. But I got in on the first day, right? But I also bought the bottom 3 times. But and if the bottom goes down 100%, I'll buy it again. Because that's not even at what point does the gas fee derivative, like why people waste on something? It wouldn't make sense, right? Exactly, Sam. Exactly. Just what he said. He's like, yeah, duh. Boom, 1 for 1. It's a 550 with speculative, just a little something. That's it. And then it pumps up to its correct price for like 2 seconds. And then everyone just has too much money. Like $100 is too much for everyone. And they just dealt. And that's how these paint these cycles so quick. Hex did the same thing. Distribution method different. Painted cycles just over and over. There was nothing there yet. There was no real people with real US dollar in the system yet. It needed time. And look where it went. It did amazing.
But that means that gap is going to grow of like if it's sitting at the floor for long enough period of time.
Dude. I said, I don't want to say this because I don't want a friggin' lawyer knocking on my door, none of this shit. But people ask me what my 100x, if I had to guess, what coin would do 100x, like, and I had a gun to my head, I'd probably say this because it's the lightest and it has the most promise to me. But again, if no one builds on it,
and 100x is only 56 million for the.
That's what I'm saying, right? That's why it's important, Sam. That's why it's important. Healthy liquidity, real liquidity, users like me, users like you. It all is important. Why did Bitcoin stay working? There was some fair nature to it, and then over time, the knowledge gap was too long, and innovation came into play. The first MP3 player is not the MP3 player you will be using. You know what I mean? And that's my opinion on Bitcoin. I probably will never buy Bitcoin again. I can't imagine. There's just no reason for me to. I'm too understanding of the basics of DeFi. No one really would understand the stuff. So like, I would understand why other people would buy Bitcoin though. If I had $100 million liquid, I'd be buying Bitcoin. You goddamn right. Goddamn right I'd be buying Bitcoin. Maybe not, maybe 10%, 20%. That's BTC, baby. That's for the kids. Because that one probably ain't going to zero before the others. Like, but Ethereum, I would probably bet on. If someone had a gun to my head, say which one goes to zero, Ethereum or Bitcoin.
When you have something like this, right, like Zen or Hex, it can't die because it's just not, you can't kill it, right? It's just code living there. It's the users, the demand for this. What is going to be taking place with that? How are people going to come in and buy this? What is going to be, you know what I mean? For the creative type, Zen is an unlimited resource.
And that's what you don't get, dude. That's what I was trying to fill you in on. Dude, the one thing about Jack is he's kind of like, he likes psychedelics a little bit. Like he likes to like do art shit. Like he likes to talk to Jack likes to discuss all these things and talk and change. And he wants things to change. Jack does not want to be known for the dude who made a bunch of fucking money on a coin that no one used for anything. And neither does really.
Yeah.
No, if you will stay if you will focus, because I know you're so busy. Like I know you are. Like yeah. I'm never hating on you. I'm just like,
no, I know.
If you can focus on a show, I spam Jack all the time and he ignores me a lot. But if I'm serious and I'm like, hey, Sam, we'll have a couple questions. I'll have a couple questions about the NFTs. Do you think you can handle that for maybe tonight? Or maybe tomorrow, or maybe I could.
Or we can also do a pre-recorded thing too. I'm also down to do that too, because those I think work very well.
Well, yeah, they definitely work. But I'm scared to commit to that yet. But we could either way. I just 1 hour from you at it could be today. I'll just ask Jack and then I'll message you.
So, yeah.
And Jack, if you're in the chat listening, catch me.
Yes.
We like Jack LeVin, and I don't think he's a vampire of any sorts. Well, he is the world's most unfair vampire. He's going to come out with unfair crypto. I hope he comes out with unfair crypto. And then it's like a double, and there's an OA. So the people, I'm just joking. I'm totally kidding. Anyway, guys, Zen is launched on like 13 effing chains, and that isn't something we didn't mention one time today. And that's something that I don't even think about, frankly, because I don't play with the other chains because they don't have any value in the gas fee. And I'm a top billion-dollar investor. So
if Jack is a vampire, then like so is Richard Hart. Like anybody with half a fucking brain can see that. Like,
yeah, but Vitalik won't answer to Richard. So, but you know what I mean?
I could see Jack having a conversation with Vitalik.
But I'm saying, like, all that noise will only get listened to by a certain metric of people. Like, there's certain guys that are like, come on, brother. Like, let's not joke around. Here's what I hate now. Not only do we need to try and bet on the right projects, we have to bet on the right chain. Zen versus ETH, incorrect, Pacific. But I'll tell you why. You're making up problems in your own head that don't exist. People do this all the time. I watch really successful investors ruin their day-to-day life every single day because they force themselves to click all day long. I'll click on let me make click. I'm so rich. Click. And I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying when you're unminting 100, how the hell are you going to think about that for the rest of your life? I mean, maybe there'll be a tool, whatever. You got 11 chains. Stick to Ethereum because it's all about the chain it's hosted on. Just think of that as security. What do you think is going to be around? I think Ethereum is going to be around. I don't know about OKCupid or whatever, OKX. I know people like OKX, but I don't know a damn thing about it. And I'll tell you what, I don't have to think about it. Why must? Until there's atomic swap liquidity providing between chains. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, Stargate. So very interesting stuff. What closing out for us, Sam? We didn't do the episode perfect. We ducked and dodged. That's how we do it here, guys. I'm gonna get better at making these more structured, but it is difficult, like because we go live every day. It's not like a scripted show, so there is interaction, there is like distractions. But just understand, if you have questions about this, I will do videos on it. Like I'm getting a little better at this stuff, so like I could do a 15-minute video on whatever and just pop up. And if you have real questions about these things, and me and Sam are going to get on with Jack as soon as possible and get a streamer or pre-recorder going, and then we can make shit happen. But I need you guys to understand, are the retweets on that tweet? Let's check the tweet. Ooh, 13 retweets. We're going to pick a winner right now.
You're going to pick a winner?
Yep. So go give your closing thoughts, Sam. Your closing thoughts. And I'm going all your questions about Zen and the awesomeness that you saw like in that moment. We'll take that to after the show or later. But what do you see here? We all know that what I think real quick, Richard created something that people stake for 15 years, and that might give it the most unfair advantage in history. People might be around just forever on that. And I think that is so awesome and cool. And I think Zen is just as cool in a different way. I think Zen is cool because it's fair. And guys like me can say, oh, thank God these rich dudes just can't really be on this yet. Sam, that's my overall ethos. I both like RH and Jack LeVin. And I hope to God they're both successful for my pocketbook's sake.
Yeah, I agree. I like both. I do like both. I own both. I will continue to build my bags in both of these actually, because I think that there's a lot of potential with Zen and how this actually plays out into the future with the gas price, how much you can actually mint. That was actually a shock to me at how little you can
Dude, that shocked my shit. I was like Christmas morning, man.
3,000. That's a whoa.
Dude, we're so dumb. Like, again, even guys that are covering this every day can miss that. And that's like, guys, this is Sam. That's why sometimes, like, I know you love LP and I'll obviously make all the passive fucking income you want. That's fucking electric. But sometimes like just looking at one thing and spending some time just being like, okay, is that thing really like going at the way I am? That's what we were kind of trying to do today. And I'm going to try to do this more as we move forward. I'm going to try to move away a little bit from like every time that I try to do anything funny or clickbait, someone else fails me because they're horrible at content, and I'm done with it. Like I'm done going to the Twitter spaces and listening to these guys not know how to deal with their audio. If it was beautiful audio, I'd love to do it, but they can't. They're so excited that they can't even like ask a good question. And then they kick all the guys out that would ask the most serious of question. And then it's like, okay, Mario, just whatever. But Mario, you have one more shot. I'm giving you one more shot before I go in full attack mode, meme style. What's your, before we go, oh, wait, let me read this. Mark Men. Thank you so much, Mark, for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. And I've been reading all your comments. I missed this one. I don't know how, but my current game theory is this. Buy some liquid Zen, let the price rise. When Zen FTs launch, then use the gains to mint Zen FTs. More Zen dollars. This is why I'm buying Zen. I don't want to get any violations, but I'll tell you, my adjustment to that would be don't complicate it too much. I like the beginning part, then you're getting a little beep, beep. You're going to start playing that game where you are wasted. It's called mental masturbation. It's sometimes just like, make sure you have that, baby, and make sure you're making money on it, and then go do something else. Like, period. Like, it's your, instead of being like, you could still be in the mix with being in the mix, but degen all you want. I love you guys. Sam, I know you got to go. It was a really good episode. And I'm going to try to make
it was a very good episode.
So fun for me. That's my favorite topics to talk about. I tried to keep it as unbiased as I can. And I'm not here to tell you Zen's going to take over the world. There's a lot of people that got a lot of things to do. That is not me. But I don't know who they are. That's frankly, like, it's a bunch of people. But I feel innovation. I feel welcomed. I feel fair treated. And I feel like there's enough knowledge now where people can start to get a grasp on things. And if for Hex, the one thing that I would like to see is less telling every smart dude in the community to get the fuck lost, and more trying to add things to take some of those things that we're maybe less excited about out. Like this is a little bit more for Richard than it would be. Like some people answer the questions, the hard questions about the OA, about centralized ownership. If this is real, if this is raw, if this is what it is, why can't you come up here and talk to me and answer some of these questions? I've asked 800 times, 1,000 times, nicely, with like a couple memes in the middle, and I'm blocked. It's like, okay, dude, I was trying to be a friend, like a cool dude, like just like I understand. It's like, he's just gonna just meet somewhere in the middle and just be like fun with it at least, like.
You bro, it's getting good vibe. You carry on. I gotta run.
No, man. Peace out. Crypto in the Morning live every single day, 11 a.m. Eastern. Follow Sam. Follow me, Sam. You make sure you retweet all those pictures with the anime stuff so we can get that guy pumping. Have an amazing day, guys. God bless.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some hedron, I'm making it rain. Play me some maxi and that's just in case. Gym ready to send me to show you the way.